things are just meant to be. But right here, right now, baby, I've never felt so free.
It's that time once again for another edition of the Ryan Beck Show. Glad you could make it in, file in quietly. Haven't seen you guys since the beginning of spring training. Some exciting stuff happened. We thought Garrett Cole died. That's basically it. Peraza's hurt. Don't really care. Really, Cole was the biggest issue, and Aaron Judge, I don't know. I'm sure he's fine. Okay, let's get into this. The issue, obviously, with Garrett Cole being hurt, and he's going to miss 1 to 2 months, they say. Who knows? Is now we're figuring out who's going to pitch opening day. Now we know it's Nestor. People were up in arms. Marcus Stroman, they offered it to him. He said he didn't want to. He wanted to stay on his program. And people, these dorks, were mad. You probably heard a lot of them on your YouTube feed. A lot of nonsense. If George was here, we wouldn't put up with none of this. George would walk down and punch everybody in the face. Shut up. Manscape, everybody. I almost died. I assume Felix is playing the Goodfellas gif now in the corner. Stroman, the most important thing, this is the point, my point. You know what opening day is worth? 0.617% of the season. 1 out of 162. Other than you ideally would like to have your ace pitching, it's one game, not even in April, late March. So it's one game. The risk of Stroman throwing off his routine and possibly hurting himself when we already are without Cole for a little bit, not even remotely close to worth it. So if he says, I'd rather pitch on the day I was supposed to pitch, get a hold of yourselves. And Cole messed up his elbow. He literally said the issue was he was going too hard in spring. Wouldn't your number one priority be nobody else gets hurt? And we remember that these games that we're watching every day right now are basically just practice, but they sell tickets for it? It means nothing. Now, let's cover Garrett Cole, shall we? I don't feel like re-recording it. You guys can deal with it. Cole, he does not need Tommy John. We were all worried. And I can tell you what, if Andy Martino was wrong when he said it's only going to be 1 to 2 months and he needed Tommy John and he was out until late next year, he would not have enjoyed this week's edition of the Ryan Beck Show. I'll tell you that much. But he was correct. Garrett Cole, just a sore elbow, take some time off, figure it out 3 to 4 weeks, go from there. Should be good. I also think that if he was really in danger of not pitching this year, I think we probably would have upped the ante as far as Dylan Cease was concerned. So I think the fact that we still didn't get Cease meant behind the scenes the Yankees were pretty confident it was not Tommy John. So Martino was right. We all went into a panic, understandably, because you want Garrett Cole as much as possible. Who wouldn't? Here's my thing about figuring things out without Cole until he comes back. I'm not saying we're grateful. Obviously, you want Garrett Cole on your team. But if Garrett Cole is not here and we can't win anyway, we were doomed this year anyway. He can't pitch every game. If instead, he still would not be pitching 80% of the games. So if he pitches 20% of the games, but you've got 4 guys throwing the other 4 days, yeah, we'd still like to be a pretty good team those other 80% of the games. So if he's gone and we stink now, that's because we were poorly constructed and Rodon's a bust. It's not because, we were going to be in such good shape, but Cole got hurt. No. Must hang in there and figure it out. Here's the good news. It looks to me, and we'll get into this a little later, like Luis Gil is going to be the 5th starter. Luis Gil, in 6 starts in 2021, proven at the major league level. He was unbelievable in his first 3 starts that year, but 6 total starts, ERA of 3.07 in 2021. And you're getting that guy back finally. I remember wanting to lose my mind when he got set down so Andrew Heaney could keep pitching and be terrible. But that's my cross to bear. Now, that's where I put my notes for the show. Before today's game, I had a show planned, and I was going to talk about Heel versus Warren. And my hypothesis was going to be, because Heel is already on the 40-man, and he's already played in the major leagues and his clock has already started, Warren would have had to blow Heel out of the water to be the 5th starter. And Warren got shelled today in Fort Myers. So, to me, I'm just assuming Luis Heel is now the 5th starter. So, I'm guessing that took care of itself. I don't really think it's up for debate. And if you bring up Warren a little later, you get an extra year of service time, so it's not even the end of the world in the grand scheme of things. If Luis Heel performs better and you decide to pitch him to start the year, not the end of the world. And he's pitched better, so if you're just going off even, you don't care about the 40-man. He's pitching better anyway. So that's the end of that. I'm going to burp again, folks. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not restarting the entire show. Speaking of prospects, this is very interesting. DJ, hurt, banged up, foot, something. Jorbit Vivas just keeps playing better, doesn't he? He's one of the few guys. He's on the 40-man. That's why we made that trade, is because Dodgers had to get rid of somebody to make room for, I think, Ohtani or Glass now. I can't remember. But we got Vivas and one of those bum relievers we got from them and sent back Trey Sweeney, who was a pretty good prospect for us, but he was not on our 40-man. If Vivas... I wouldn't be shocked if DJ's hurt. I'm not saying he's hurt. Who knows? It could be nothing. Vivas at third base wouldn't be the end of the world to me. You hit him 9th. Sweet. He can run, plays good defense. He's hitting. I'm sold on him being the second baseman next year, for sure. And I understand people like Glaber. I like Glaber, but you can only spend so much money, and we need to bring back Juan Soto. And the money that you would give to Glaber, I would rather invest that money in Corbin Burns next year. So that, to me, is the most obvious decision. Now, ignore that. My final thing. If DJ is hurt, I don't want to see Alex Verdugo hitting leadoff on opening day. I want to see none other than our sweet shortstop, number 11, Anthony Volpe. Now, here's the thing that nerds don't understand that tell people how to put the lineup. It's something that you only understand, and I'm not going to act like I played baseball at a high level. I played until high school. When you want to be a baseball player and your whole life you've been the star, you do want to keep being the star. You can lie to people and go in front of an interview with Meredith and go, I'm just happy to be a part of the team as long as I'm out there slugging it out with the fellas. No. Anthony Volpe wants to be the next Derek Jeter. He wants to be the superstar shortstop for the Yankees. That's why they gave him a normal jersey number, 11, not a number that begins somewhere in the 70s or has a decimal point in it. They gave him a regular number. Anthony Volpe wants to be the shortstop for the Yankees who hits leadoff and dances off of first base and steals bases, and then Dominguez, Soto, and Aaron Judge and Spencer Jones in the future knock him in. That's what he wants to be. He can come out and say all the right things, but that's what he wants to be. And if you drop him in the order, whether or not he admits it, it is not what he wants to be. It is humiliating. And you are telling him effectively as an organization, we do not believe you will grow. We believe that that's who you are and you're going to hit 8th. And if you don't believe me, when Giancarlo Stanton and Josh Donaldson's numbers reflected somebody who should be dropped in the order, We refused to drop them in the order. We kept hitting them cleanup because we didn't want to humiliate them. And these are people worth literally 9 figures who have made an ungodly amount of money, borderline Hall of Famers who just are at the end of their career and genuinely cannot play anymore. But Volpe is possibly confidence away from being who we all dreamed he would be. But in my opinion, hitting him at the bottom of the order tells him we don't think you can do it. So do you believe in Volpe? Because you told us that's why we didn't get Corey Seager. You told us that's why we didn't get Marcus Semien. We just watched that team win a World Series. They thought they needed him. We didn't. We didn't need Carlos Correa. We said Volpe is the guy. So is he the guy? Then tell him he's the guy and show it by hitting him leadoff on opening day and never erase his name until he retires. He's the leadoff hitter. He's also been a leadoff hitter his entire life, I'm sure. I'm sure ever since Little League and high school, Anthony Volpe has played shortstop and hit leadoff. So telling him that he's now going to hit 8th or 9th when his whole skill set is built on I'm going to start the game off, I'm going to work the count and see a million pitches, I'm going to be pesky. All of a sudden you're telling him he's a bum and he hits 8th or 9th. That's not what his skill set is. You don't draft a quarterback and tell him you're a left tackle now and figure it out if you care about winning. He's a leadoff hitter. Hit him leadoff. And my final piece I'd like to cover for the rest of this week is, I've been saying it all off season. Austin Wells is my starting catcher. I'm playing him like he's the starting catcher, and Trevino will play day games after night games. When Cole comes back, I don't even want him to be the personal catcher. I want Austin Wells out there as much as possible. Not only is he clearly a significant offensive upgrade to Jose Trevino or Ben Rortvedt, but he calls a better game. Go look through the stats of our starting pitchers. When they pitch to Wells, their numbers are better than when they pitch to Trevino. I'm sorry. We love Trevino. I don't dislike him. I didn't dislike Kyle Higashioka. I don't dislike Ben Rortvedt. But it is clear that the way Wells calls a game and the way that he is a team leader, the Yankees are better when he is your catcher. And that's not even counting that he's leaps and bounds better offensively than any of our other catchers. The other thing is he is a team leader. I was watching a Patriots game last year because we were awful. So I was watching them because, believe it or not, they were more fun than watching the Jake Bauers Yankees. And the play-by-play guys were emphatically saying, Austin Wells is the leader of this team. And if you don't believe me, go and follow his minor league career. The Renegades, and then the Patriots, and then I'm forgetting what our AAA team is. It doesn't matter. He was there for like 10 minutes anyway. Where he goes, they win. Every place he goes, they win. And when he gets promoted, that team he left stops winning. It's because of him. It's because of him last year in the month of September, we were suddenly the best team in baseball as far as record goes. It wasn't Dominguez. He was here for a week. For the entire month of September, we had the best record in baseball, and the difference was Austin Wells was behind the plate, and all of our pitchers were pitching better. All of a sudden, all the guys that we eventually traded for Soto, but still, those guys were unhittable. They were not unhittable before he showed up. They were solid. Michael King was pretty good. Vasquez and Brito were kind of a coin flip, but they were unbelievable out of the bullpen when Austin Wells was the catcher, and that is why. So I want Austin Wells being treated like he's Yadier Molina. I want him behind the plate as much as humanly possible. And Trevino, when Wells, it's bad for the team to play him like a day game after a night game, or obviously if there's a doubleheader, then Trevino catches. But Austin Wells is my catcher, period, end of story. And with that said, that's the end of this story. We'll see you soon. This is the Ryan Beck Show on NYY News.